Hello everybody, my name's Anne.
Welcome back, children. Usborne Young Reading. Stories of Dragons.
Story of Dragon.
We have four stories. The first one is all about dragons. Years ago, dragons were the terror of towns, or so it was said. They breathed in air and blew out flame. Just one puff of dragon breath could kill you. Some dragons lived in caves guarding stolen treasure. Others lived under the sea. Sometimes they popped up and scared sailors.
Years ago, dragons were the terror of tide. So also it was said. They breathed in the air, blew off flame. Just one puff of dragon breath could kill you. Some dragons live in caves, guarding stolen treasure. Others live under the sea. Sometimes they pop up and scare sailors.
Dragons even lived in the sky. When they were angry, storms blew up. Bolts of lightning were flames shot from across dragons' nose. Most people kept as far away from dragons as they could. Only knights dared go near them. People offered huge rewards to the brave knights who could kill dragons, but dragons weren't so easy to defeat. Dragons had bumpy scales, flapping wings, and pointed tails, and they came in all shapes and sizes. Whatever they looked like, you wouldn't want to meet one.
Dragons even lived in the sky. When they were angry, storms blew up. Bolts of lightning were flames shot off from across dragon nose. Most people keep as far away from dragons as they could. Only knights dared to near them. People offered huge reward to the brave knight who could kill dragon, but dragon wasn't so easy to defeat. Dragon had lumpy scale, flapping wings, and pointed tail, and they came in all shapes and sizes, whatever they look like. You won't want to meet one.
Chapter 2. Stan and the Dragon. Stan was a woodcutter. He lived deep in the forest with his wife. She was sad because they had no children. One day, a wizard appeared in the forest. "You're a good man, Stan," said the wizard. "I can grant you one wish." Stan only wanted one wish. "I wish for as many children as my wife is thinking about now," he said. Stan's wish came true, but they didn't have 2 or 10 or even 50 children. They had 100. "Oh no! How will I afford to feed them all?" said Stan.
Stan was a huskcutter. He lived deep in the forest with his wife. He was sad because he had no children. One day, Wither appeared in the forest. "You are a good man, Stan," said the Wither. "I can grant you one wish." Stan only wants one wish. "I wish for as many children as my wife is thinking about now," he said. Stan will became true, but they didn't have 2 or 10 or even 15 children. They had 100. "Oh no! How will I afford to feed them all?" said Stan.
His friend Sam had an idea. "A dragon has been scaring my sheep," he said. "If you can find its cave, you might find treasure." So Stan set off in search of the dragon and its treasure. Stan didn't find the dragon found him. When he saw it, Stan knew he couldn't fight the dragon. Instead, he said, "I bet I'm stronger than you. I can squeeze a stone until it drips." And then he got the stone and he squeezed it. "You are strong," grunted the dragon. He didn't know Stan's stone was a lump of old cheese. The dragon
His friend Sam had an idea. The dragon had been scaring my sheep. he said. If you can find its cage, you might find treasure. So Stan set up in search of the dragon and its treasure. Stan did find the dragon. The dragon found him. He saw it. Stan knew he couldn't find the dragon. Instead, he said, I bet I'm stronger than you. I can throw a stone until it breaks. You are strong, ran the dragon. He didn't know Stan's stone was a lump of old cheese.
It took Stan to meet his mother. Must have been a trick, she said. If you really are stronger than my son, I'll give you our treasure. You won't beat my son twice. She found 2 clubs. See how far you can both throw these. I'll throw mine over that mountain, said the dragon. How about you? I can't throw now, Stan said. The moon's in the way. Now the dragons were scared.
The dragon took Stan to meet his mother. It must have been a trick, she said. Are you ready? Are stronger than my son. I've given you all our treasure. You won't beat my son twice. She fought to clap. See how far you can battle these. I promise over that mountain, said the dragon. How about you? I can through now, Stan said. The moon in the way.
Stan was the strongest man they had ever met. They made a plan to kill him in the night. I'll creep into his room when he's asleep, and then you can bash him on the head. But Stan heard them. He decided to fool them and put a log in his bed. Tonight I shall sleep like a log. In the middle of the night, the dragon crept to Stan's bed. Bam! He whacked the bed just where he thought Stan's head was. That's killed him, said the dragon. Hit him hard, son. When Stan
Now the dragon was scared. Stan was the strongest man they had ever met. They made a plan to kill him in the night. I crept into his room when he asleep. Then you can bash him on the head. But Stan heard them. He decided to fool them, put log in his bed. Tonight, I shall sleep like a log. In the middle of the night, the dragon crept to Stan's bed. Bam! He cracked the bed just where he thought Stan's head was to kill him, said the dragon. Hit him hard, son.
Yet next morning, the dragons were astonished. Good morning. Oh, I have a little bump on my head. Perhaps a flea bit me in the night. Stan was much too clever for the terrified dragons. They took out their treasure. Here, just take it. Just go away and leave us alone. If you're sure, this is very kind. They even carried the treasure home for him. Stan had enough gold to buy his huge family all the food they could eat. Chapter Tiny dinosaur darted through Alvy's leg. Chapter 3.
But when Stan appeared next morning, the dragons were astonished. Good morning. I have a little bump on my head, he said. Perhaps it beat me in the night. Stan was much too clever for the terrified dragon. They took out their treasure. Here, they said. Take it. Just go away and leave us alone. They even carried the treasure home for him. Stan had enough gold to buy his whole family all the food they could eat.
The wicked worm. Tom loved fishing. Until the afternoon, he caught a worm instead of a fish. An old man had seen him. That worm is trouble, he warned Tom, but don't throw it back in the river. You'd only make things worse. You must get rid of it. Tom didn't know what to do. He tried to hide the worm in a well. Oh, come on, in you go. But a week later, the worm crawled out. It had grown even bigger.
Tom loved fishing. Until the afternoon he caught worm instead of a fish. An old man had seen him. That worm is terrible, he warned Tom. But don't throw it back the river. You only make things worse. You must get rid of it. Tom didn't know what to do. He tried to hide the worm in the well. In you go. But weeks later, the worm crawled out. It had grown even bigger.
The worm was hungry and angry. It chased the cows around the fields. Then it chased the villagers around their houses. Help! Run! Tom felt terrible. The worm was a menace, and it was all his fault. What am I going to do? Brave knights came from miles around to kill the worm, but it was too strong. It curled itself around them and squeezed them so they couldn't fight.
The worm was hungry and angry. It chased the cows around the field. Then it chased the villagers around their house. Help! Run! Tom felt terrible. The worm was managed, and it's all his fault. Break Knight came from miles around to kill the worm, but it was too strong. The curse itself around them and squeezed them till they couldn't fight.
Finally, Tom went to see a wise woman to ask for help. You caught it. You must get rid of it, she told Tom. You could ask the village dragon for help. Tom wasn't sure about that. The dragon had never hurt anyone because everyone left him alone. But Tom had no choice, so he dressed up like a brave knight and went to beg the dragon for help. To his surprise, the dragon didn't look scary at all. What's wrong? Said Tom. I'm lonely, the dragon replied. I have no friends. I know how you can have 100, Tom told him, but you'll have to look fierce.
Finally, Tom went to see the wise woman to ask for help. You caught it. You must get rid of it, she so told. You could add the villager dragon to help. Tom wasn't sure about that. The dragon had even hurt anyone, never hurt anyone because everyone lived in the lawn. But Tom had no choice, so he dresses up and break night and went to let the dragon to have. To his surprise, the dragon didn't look scary at all. What's wrong? Said Tom. I'm lonely, the dragon replied. I have no friend. I know how you can have 100, Tom told him, but you'll have to look friends.
The dragon about the worm. If you eat the worm, everyone in the village will be your friend, he said. I can't eat it, said the dragon. I'm a vegetarian, but I could scare it. It was so hot the worm was swimming. The dragon stood on the river bank, opened its mouth and roared, Yum! Supper! The worm took one look at the dragon and swam for its life. It was never seen again.
Tom told the dragon about the worm. If you eat the worm, everyone in the village will be your friend, he said. I can't eat it, said the dragon. I'm the vegetarian, but I could scare it. It was so hot. The worm was swimming. The dragon stood on the river bank, opened his mouth and roared. Yummed! He cried. Super! Ah! The worm took one look at the dragon, swam of its life. It never seen again.
Chapter 4. Victor saves the village. Victor made barrels, the best barrels in the country. He made the best barrels because he used the best wood. He hunted hard to find the tallest, straightest trees. He was always looking out for the perfect tree, so he didn't always watch where he was going. One day, he tripped and fell into a cave.
Victor made a berry, the best berry in the country. He made the best berry because he used the best wood. He hunted hard to find the tallest, strongest tree. He was always looking out for the perfect trees, so he didn't always watch where he was going. One day he tripped and fell. Ah! into a cave.
Try as he might, Victor couldn't climb out of the cave. Suddenly he heard a deep growl. There was something behind him. Victor looked. He wished he hadn't. "Please don't eat me," Victor begged. "We won't," said one of the dragons. "Not yet. We're going to sleep. Wake us up in the spring."
Try him as he might. Almost, yeah. Ah! Victor couldn't climb out of the cave. Suddenly, he heard a deep growl. There was something behind him. Victor looked. He wished he hadn't. "Please don't eat me," Victor begged. "We won't," said one of the dragons. "Not yet. We are going to sleep. Wake us up in the spring."
Now Victor was stuck. Soon he was bored as well. There was nothing he could do. He had to wait until spring. All he had to eat and drink were grass and water. After a while, he was no longer as round as a barrel. He was as thin as a twig. Finally, the dragons awoke. "We can't eat you," said one. "You're skin and bone."
Because Victor was stuck, soon he was bored as well. There was nothing he could do. He had to wait until spring. All he had to eat and drink were grass and water. Afterward, he had no longer around at the barrel. He was as thin as a twig. Finally, the dragon awoke. "We can't eat you," said the one. "You are skin and bone."
"Grab my tail," the other dragon said to Victor. "We'll take you home. Perhaps your friends will make a juicy meal." The villagers were amazed to see Victor after so long, and they were terrified to see the dragons. But before the dragons could bite anyone, Victor invited them to a huge feast. Victor and the dragons ate for a week. The dragons enjoyed the food so much, they decided they would never eat people again. The villagers were very pleased to hear it. They put up a statue of Victor in the market square. Now everyone who visits knows how Victor saved the village from 2 hungry dragons.
"Grab my tail," the other dragon said to Victor. "We'll take you home. Perhaps your friend will make juicy milk." The villagers were amazed to see Victor after so long, and they were terrified to see the dragon. But before the dragon could beat anyone, Victor invited them to a huge feast. Victor and the dragon ate for a week. The dragon enjoyed the food so much, they decided they would never eat people again. The villagers were very pleased to hear it. They put up statue of Victor in their market square. Now everyone who visits knows how Victor saved the village from 2 hungry dragons.